Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
Alright. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Race to 100. I am Rich Thorcell.
And I'm Neil Batang.
And we are on episode number 71.
71, 29 to go. I'm so excited to do this with you, Rich.
This is going to be a fun episode because Neil has no idea what we're about to talk about.
Hey, before we start, I just want to take a moment to publicly thank my coworker and co-host, one of my best friends, Rich Thorcell, for doing this with me for so long. For being so patient with me and putting up with my melanin having self for all of these weeks and going on more than 13 years. I appreciate your friendship.
Well, thank you. I feel the same way, and believe it or not, this may sound weird, but the more that I hang out with you, the more I can tolerate you.
So, you know what they say, right? The more you hang out with them,
it's the magical 71 episode anniversary.
It only took 12 years, y'all. But okay, so I have no idea what we're going to talk about. Rich, please enlighten us.
And the fun part about this is that I sent him the link earlier in the day about what this episode would be, and he didn't actually look at it.
I was busy. I didn't look at it.
So stuff gets in the way, and I thought this would be a fun little civics lesson that we have right now.
Okay.
So, first question for you guys and Neil: how many U.S. senators How many U.S. senators are there in the Congress? How many states are there in the Union?
50 states, 2 per state. That makes 100.
All right. Question 1. Good job. Question 2. Of the 100 U.S. senators, how many of them are black?
$15.
You think 15. So that would be about proportional to what the demographics are, right?
Yeah, the U.S. demographics.
So you'd say about 15% of the country is black, 15% of the senators are black as well.
Was that accurate?
You're a little high. The answer is 2.
Oh,
there are 2 black senators currently sitting in the U.S. Senate. Now, how many of them are Republican?
One of them.
One of them! Now, that means the other one's a Democrat. 50% of the black senators in the United States Congress are Republican. Now, there was an interesting little thing going on this past week where Tim Scott, the Republican African-American senator from North Carolina, ended up getting up on the Senate floor to talk about race in America. Now, this is a little weird because you don't often see Republicans talking about race in America, and you don't often see African Americans in the Republican Party engaging this as aggressively as somebody like Tim Scott did. Now, I got to give this man credit because he stood up on the floor of the Senate and talked about how in the first year that he was elected as a United States Senator, he was pulled over by police 7 times. The Capitol Police, who are in charge and responsible for memorizing all of the United States Senators' faces so that there's no questions when a senator comes in, all they have to do is they have a pin on the United States Senate, and all they have to do is be wearing the pin and they are admitted. He was stopped 3 times, he said, by the Capitol Police, who forbid him to enter until he showed an actual physical ID.
What year was this, Rix?
This was 2 years ago,
okay.
I believe. And he was saying his incredulousness of how it would be possible for somebody who's a United States Senator not even to be allowed on the Senate grounds when none of his white counterparts ever had to deal with that, ever. He received 3 calls from the Capitol Police Chief apologizing for the behavior of the officers. Because when he went up, he was recounting on the floor one time. He was very eloquent in his recounting of these stories, and he said when he went up to enter into the Capitol grounds, the security guard said, "I recognize that pin, but I don't recognize your face. You'll have to show me some ID." And so his response in his head, he's thinking, so either you think that I'm committing a felony right now by trying to impersonate a United States Senator, or there's something else going on, something racial going on.
So, to sum it up, This guy's name is Tim Lewis?
Tim Scott.
Tim Scott. Tim Scott, a U.S. politician, a Republican, black U.S. politician, senator from North Carolina, was racially profiled.
Yes, and
big effing surprise.
He was very explicit about that. And it is rare because you rarely see Republicans standing out on this issue. And granted, yes, he is African American, but
being Republican doesn't change your blackness. Doesn't he know? Ben Carson doesn't know, but I'm sure Tim Scott does.
But why I think this is so important.
Being Republican doesn't suppress.
And this
all
goes.
Of a sudden,
oh my God!
It doesn't suppress
so
that
this
stuff.
goes back.
You look like Michael Jackson. All of a sudden. I mean, what am I saying?
I'm about to slap him.
Look at what he's saying. I mean, of course.
And so there is an important part of this. In this goes back to the conversation that we've had about whether or not you ignore ignorance or you engage it, right?
Okay.
And in this instance, Republicans don't listen to Democrats. They don't listen to white Democrats. They don't listen to black Democrats. When Democrats talk, all they hear is bitching.
Would a white Republican be more apt to listen or consider the viewpoints from a black Republican or a white Democrat?
A black Republican, absolutely.
Okay.
When it comes to Capitol Hill, it is the label of your party. That's part of the reason why Paul Ryan endorsed Donald Trump. He doesn't agree with anything that Donald Trump says or holds a policy position on, and yet he supports him because he has the R next to his name.
Okay.
So when you have a Republican, which is the deity in Washington D.C., Democrat or Republican, you have to have your party affiliation to have any sort of legitimacy for anyone to listen to you. You have to be of the same party. And so to have a black Republican speaking out on these issues as forcefully as he is, that is the only way. That is the only way that Republicans will even begin to listen to this conversation. So it took 2 times in 3 episodes, it took cojones for him to be able to stand up and say what he did because, I mean, really, he has nothing to gain by making such a public statement. And he took an entire week to outline every single day. He went onto the Senate floor talking about race in America as a black Republican.
Did that cop lose his job for not allowing him access?
I have no idea. They didn't investigate that.
Yeah, he probably did it, but
well, of course. I mean,
Sorry, Shea, what do you have to say about that, Tommy Loren?
But
Sarah
and
Palin.
that's what they're saying too, is that this counters the narrative that a lot of black conservative pundits, or white conservative pundits have when it's like, oh, it's just these black liberals talking about race. Like racism doesn't exist. There's no racial prejudice.
Yeah,
it's just
look at Ben Carson. Look at Tim Scott.
Yeah.
Look at these guys. They made it. You guys can make it too.
But
they didn't have to overcome any obstacles.
The reality is, Tim Scott said his first year as an elected representative dealt with racism that I think is pretty average to what the African American, the regular, the average African American has to deal with on a yearly basis to begin with.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it just stinks to know that even as a black man, you are literally a part of the U.S. government in a position of power to make decisions and changes for the better of the people, and you are still subject to being racially profiled. It's just something we can't avoid.
Isn't that ironic that
no
matter how powerful
this is something
you get as a black person,
we keep harping on because this isn't something that anybody wants. No one wants to be inconvenienced for the color of their skin, but it happens. And
it does happen, and hopefully people start listening that a Republican who experienced these things is talking to you guys who are a little more conservative, that you can actually listen to what one of your peers has to say as opposed to those crazy liberals who have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, so I'm kind of glad we filmed this episode off the cuff because it was a lot of fun. I learned.
Was it interesting?
I know. I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but I didn't know. Like, it's just cool. Like, I mean, I guess I could have, spoken off the cuff and said to people in an argument, "Oh yeah, I'm sure, black politicians get racially profiled too." But here is proof. Like it's in the pudding. A black guy who's in a black senator got racially profiled. I can't believe, I'm like stuttering right now because I'm so surprised that like that even happened. Like really? Like 2 years ago, like I thought you, when I asked you like how long ago this happened, I thought you were gonna say like, oh, 1998. Like we're like, no, this happened like 2 years ago, y'all. Like so
common era.
In good old North Carolina. So
2 senators, 2 black senators.
So I hope you bigots and racists out there that don't believe.
we're talking to all you bigots and racists out there who are watching Race to 100
that don't believe that this type
made
of stuff
it this
happens.
far in the video.
You look up this article.
Thank you.
And you make sure you watch this episode of Race to 100.
Just for that, I'm going to include a link for all the racists and bigots out there to take a look at this article because we know how passionate you are about what we have to do. And we're watching those thumbs down.
Yeah, and how about some recommended psychology books as well? Because boy, I don't know what they're thinking. But feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more episodes of Race to 100. We appreciate all the support we've received from our viewers and subscribers. None of this would be possible without you guys. Thanks once again. I'm Neil Patang. Rix, you want to add anything else?
I am Global Civics Lesson, and we will catch you next time on Race to 100. Peace.